Welcome back to Gold Derby. I'm Christopher Rosen. I'm joined by Joyce Hing. Joyce, what a week in Hollywood. The big story, the Golden Globes added categories. That was the only thing that happened this week.
Yeah, nothing else.
Nothing else.
Nothing else happened or is happening today, Wednesday, September 27th.
Yeah, nothing ended.
Yeah, nothing. Nobody can start doing something
Right.
anymore today.
Right.
So, yeah.
No, of course, Joyce, the writer's strike ended. So people are writing right now.
As of 12:01 a.m. Pacific.
The Stranger Things writers, they were like at 11:59, they were in their rooms and then they just opened the computers and started writing.
Yeah, the Yellow Jackets writers room, they can finally convene. Like their first day was May 1st.
Yeah. Abbott Elementary,
Yeah, they
they're
could
just
finally get rolling in season
get it
3.
going. Here we
Yeah,
go. Can't
Last
wait to
of
see these
Us,
shows.
they could put the finishing touches, season 2, and then
When will they
waiting for
announce
SAG.
when will they announce the Last of Us casting for season 2? Will they wait
I
to
mean, like
SAG?
they've had like some of them. It's
Well,
been like, but not like, like real for real.
they mentioned the main character in the second season. I forget the
Yeah.
character's name, but I was like, they already casted that person, seemingly, and so
Because
we'll
they can't mention stuff
mention
because
it. So I guess they'll wait till after SAG, probably
well,
through the
it's
next
just like
month.
how after, like obviously the tentative deal was Sunday night and immediately, 8 hours later, Monday morning, is like Office reboot.
Can't wait. That was
Yeah.
great. It was there was nothing better to me than this big
We end a
momentum.
strike just for an Office reboot that no one asked for. So
Perfect. Just a perfect encapsulation of what this industry is doing. But no, Joyce, we're going to talk about the Golden Globes today. They're back with no television network yet.
yet.
But
What I
they
think is gonna happen is because they've already lined up their producers, Ricky Kirshner and Glenn Weiss.
yeah, not just any producers. Those guys are real
Yeah,
like heavy hitter
all
producers.
stars. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oscar producers.
Those are like the real producers.
Yeah. Now they're like overhauling the membership again. They kicked out 18 people this week.
I saw that. I didn't really I just saw the headline. I didn't
Yeah.
read much about it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know them, like,
Uh
And now the two new categories,
that's
and they
it.
also covertly eliminated two.
Yeah, no
Buried
one
the
really
lead
talked
there.
about that.
No one did. Like buried a lead there. So they don't have an extra two. They have the same amount. They just got rid of two. But anyway,
So
we'll get to that.
so
So what I think is going to happen is what happened with SAG earlier this year when it was also, homeless forever.
mhm.
And then like the day of nominations, or was it the day before? I think it's the day before because they were announcing like how to announce or watch the nominations. It was like, we'll stream on Netflix, YouTube.
Right. And then
And then
this year
like
it'll be on
next year
Netflix.
will be on
Right. Or
Netflix.
next year it'll be
Or
on
yeah,
Netflix.
in
Right.
2024 it'll be on Netflix. So I feel like they'll announce the Globes will announce a home like right before nominations on December 11th.
I mean, I think that makes sense. They're clearly going to have something. And like you said, they hired these two massive producers. They're
Yeah,
not doing
and
it
as we
for
know,
nothing.
they've been in talks with a lot of networks, and if you believe the T, a lot of them have rejected them. So
I'll be curious to see where it ends up. I mean, I definitely think like it makes sense to go to some kind of streaming platform. I think all these shows will end up there except for like the big ones. So I feel like if it goes to, I don't know, Paramount Plus, Peacock, maybe. I don't think
I mean,
Netflix would
like
do it.
Peacock is NBC. NBC gave them, brought them back for 1 year.
Right. So maybe they just go, hey, we'll put it on Peacock. We're not going to put it on NBC. Who knows? We'll see. But they added two new categories, Joyce.
Yeah. So the ones they got rid of to add these two were
Yes.
two that they added this past season. So
Yeah.
1 year only, apparently. They, in the TV categories, the supporting categories, used to be, or, well, prior to last season, they were catch-all, combining comedy, drama, and limited TV movie. And then last season, they split them. So there were 4 TV supporting categories: comedy/drama. Don't know why they were still paired together. And then limited TV movie. So that gave us winners like Jennifer Coolidge, because I was gonna say Last of Us, The White Lotus was under limited
Yes.
at the Globes.
It,
So she won that supporting category. And then Julia Garner won for Ozark
mhm.
for comedy or drama. And then for the dudes, Paul Walter Hauser won limited for Blackbird. And then Tyler James Williams won comedy drama for Abbott Elementary. So now they're just reverting back to the catch-all categories again.
And I got to say, based on the potential nominees for limited series this year,
I feel like that's kind of why they did it.
Not the deepest bench is what I would say.
I mean, I was, looking at like what I had in comedy / drama for supporting. I'm like, I don't really need to add limited people.
I don't believe I did.
I didn't either.
We're not going to do our TV picks, but I could just tell you I didn't do that. I would say the one thing I don't mind that they got rid of those two categories personally. I don't think it matters, and I don't think there's enough of content or product to warrant that separate category. But why wouldn't they just add like an additional 5 actors or actresses to these supporting categories? If it's such a big catch-all, why not just do like 8 or 10 total?
Which is weird because like for one of these new categories, it's going to be 8 nominees.
Yes, it doesn't really make sense to me to limit, especially on TV, and especially when you're just not worrying about genre and it's everything. There's like 600 shows. I mean, next year maybe it'll be like 200, but this year there's a lot of shows. Like, why not just have it be 10 people? And you could still fill
10 is way too much. I'm not a fan of that.
How about 8?
So like it's more that I feel like they should just never split them last year in the first place.
It felt silly to split them. If you're going to split something,
they just existed for a year.
Right.
So
it was basically the White Lotus year. That was why.
I mean, I think if they had not split them last year, Jennifer still would have won because they never liked Ozark.
Right.
So that was Ozark's only win ever. So
maybe it was an Ozark year then. Maybe they're like, we got to get Ozark on a trophy.
No, I think they were just kind of like, we created this new category. So it was like, sure, here.
So
like, Garner, you won your 3rd Emmy. Here's
so,
your.
So what replaced these two? One is a new Golden Globe for Best Performance in Stand-Up Comedy on Television. We won't go into that one, but it seems like I think that's a good award to give out. Stand-up comedy is pretty popular. People like it.
Also incredibly problematic.
Sure. There'll be some problematic people in there, I'm sure. And then some people like, and that'll be it. And then another one that they added, which is the one we're not going to, I guess we can't really predict it because it's not in there yet. But man, I love how crazy this is. The Golden Globe for Cinematic and Box Office Achievement.
It's giving Best Popular Film. And also, why is this an award? Because Box Office Achievement, that's what the money's for, .gif. So.
I have it partially here in the Variety exclusive, Joyce. They got a lot of exclusives now, Variety, about Golden Globes.
Not surprising at all.
Titles must have grossed at least $150 million during release, $100 million of which must have come from domestic box office. Streaming films with commensurate viewership will be considered based on data from, quote, recognized industry sources. Sure. 8 films will be eligible for the prize, and they can also compete for categories like Best Drama and Best Comedy, as long as they meet criteria for those fields.
Sure.
So they did this year when the Best Comedy and Best Drama winners are probably heavily favored to be Oppenheimer, which is close to $1 billion, and Barbie, which is close to $1.5 billion in grosses. And so now one of those two, presumably, would also win this award, I would guess.
They could have one of them win this and then not have the winner of this new category win the actual film prize in their
then if that happened, it would be like Poor Things would win instead of Barbie, or Killers of the Flower Moon instead of Oppenheimer.
Mm-hmm. Cover the bases.
I love the streaming films with commensurate viewership. There's a lot
like meaningless, so
completely meaningless. And now it's going to be the writer's strike ended here with some lip service towards transparency of streaming data.
It's just they're only going to share the data with the WGA. It's not going to be public, which just tells you everything. This is exactly what I expected, because this was clearly the holdup, because those numbers are trash. And
or we're assuming they are.
I mean, they're definitely not as high as they've been touted to be, especially in the heyday of streaming, the heights of streaming.
And so who knows what they'll do, but I noticed a lot of the streaming services in the last month, probably in preparation of deciding that they were going to end the strike and make this offer, which they kind of did in August anyway. They've added like a top list like Netflix has. Have you noticed that? Like Max has it, Hulu has it. I think Amazon has it too now, where it's like the most watched, but through their weird minutes, maybe, or who knows what the metric is. But I assume that that's how perhaps something like, if this was last year or 2 years ago, Red Notice would have been a nominee here, right? Like that idea for this Golden Globes.
I mean, just imagine what the nominees would have been for this category like 3 years ago.
Red Notice, Bird Box, maybe. I don't remember when these movies came out. Adam, what is the Adam movie that Ryan Reynolds did? Adam Project.
Yeah.
I mean, the top 10 in Netflix, it's like, that's what we're talking about. So one of these movies would be in there, right? In theory. Maybe, who knows? I don't know. So that's a great category. We're not going to predict it though, but I got to say, if we were doing it now, I think Oppenheimer and Barbie would be probably in the front based on their box office.
I think it would be them,
Super Mario,
Spider-Verse, John Wick, maybe.
What about Super Mario Brothers?
Yeah. I mean, there's 8. So how many is that?
Well, the top grossing movies of the year, domestically at least, are Barbie, Mario, Spider-Man, Guardians, Oppenheimer, Little Mermaid, Avatar, which wouldn't count, and then Ant-Man and John Wick would be the 8. If you're just going ranking on box office, that's not necessarily what this is, though, right? Is it also subjective? I don't actually even know.
I mean, we don't know what they do.
Like, there's no, it's not just a rank.
No, because it's like, if it's just going by box office, then we know what that is.
How about Sound of Freedom getting in here? Did they add this just
I
to get
mean,
Sound of Freedom?
you know, lot of speculation. That's what this was for.
So another possibility, another popular movie, Joyce. It's the popular film Oscar.
Yeah, best popular film.
I
feel like
I gotta say, like, I thought it was great.
I'm like,
I think popular film. I think it's great that they added it, because it's not like the Golden Globes are not the Oscars, and so there's not like a lot of like long-term respect for the institution, and so I think they're able to be like a little, tweaks and like try different things. Whereas the Oscars, obviously, when they did this similarly, was a massive outrage and pushback, so much so that they just killed it before it even existed.
Well, the Globes are not the industry,
right?
Like,
but I mean, I don't think that matters.
Can do whatever they want. Like, that's why, like, it's not just because it's like the Oscars, because it's like our industry.
I actually think it is.
It's also because it's like the money aspect of it is like that's basically like PGA,
Yeah.
So, but like they find, it's the Oscars are supposed to be based on artistic merit, which we know it's not solely based on that.
You're kidding me. The Oscars are not.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, breaking news. I know. Wow. You're learning this for the first time today.
Yeah.
So yeah, like they do, like that was part of it, but it's also like it's because like it is the industry voting on itself.
Right.
So it's like the Globes can do whatever they want. So
I'm glad they did it, but we can't predict it yet. And I'm very curious. I can't wait to see how they bend
it's
the streaming
it's a very silly category.
They also said, I forget, you sent me this and I can't find it, but it was in the press release. It wasn't in the Variety article, but they're going to extrapolate out, I think, on movies released after Thanksgiving, right? So like Wonka could maybe get in based on like projections. Is that right?
Yeah. So it says films that are released after November 22nd may qualify based on projected box office performance and or streaming views from recognized industry sources.
Awesome. So like Wonka and Aquaman don't not count it out here, even though
the color purple, like, yeah,
because the projections could say Aquaman may gross 900.
We have high
million.
Expectations for this.
Yeah, the tracking, the tracking's never wrong, Joyce.
Love tracking.
If you pay attention to the box office, it's just 100% hit rate. So let's do our Golden Globes picks. I guess we're just gonna do film because TV's not happening. I just thought of this though before. I was like, the writer's strike ended here September 27th. The actors strike probably will end, maybe by Halloween, right? Like that would be like conservative, I would say at this point. And the Emmys are still in January. They could have easily happened in November, very easily.
Well, it was great because like when they announced that the talks were resuming last Wednesday, or like they were going to resume last Wednesday, I'm like, Drew Barrymore could have just waited 2 weeks.
Well, yeah, she could have waited, but also they could have just done the Emmys in November.
Yeah, but like that's like they could have. We already talked about why they didn't do that.
I know.
Or why, but like, and I've seen a lot of tweets, since the deal being like, are they going to move up the Emmys? It's like, absolutely not.
They didn't change the Emmys because of the strike. They changed the Emmys because they wanted to change the Emmys.
The strikes were just a great excuse to move it, especially for Fox.
Yes.
And then yes, like it sucks that the deal was made a week or less than a week. It was 6 days because the Emmys were supposed to be on the 18th, like less than a week after the original date of the Emmys. But that doesn't mean they're going to move it up because now, it's like, SAG is still on strike, so that's still not over, and like they're already planning for January.
Yeah.
So like they're not gonna like move it back now. So it's dumb, but like they're
never gonna move it back. But they definitely could have they didn't have to date it for January. They could have just moved it off September.
Oh, we've talked about this.
We know that.
We know why you didn't do that.
It just made me laugh. So the Golden Globes, Joyce. Best film drama. We'll start at the top, I guess, and go down. This seemed pretty easy, though I did swerve at the last one. I have Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, Past Lives, Maestro, and Saltburn.
You just love Saltburn.
I do. It's so good. But I was like, it just feels very Globesy and trashy in a way that I think the Globes would really like. And Anatomy of Falls in fifth in the odds, but I'm like, based on past Globes, I know it's a different group now. I just feel like that would not maybe fly as much as Saltburn. So that's my 5. I assume you have the regular 5.
I do.
Man, I love Saltburn, though. It just feels very Globesy to me. I think Anatomy of Fall is like a clear best picture.
Like Anatomy of Fall feels Globesy to me, too.
I guess a little. It is definitely like procedurally, like we said, like an HBO prestige drama. But this feels like Oppenheimer to win.
Yes.
Not much else to say, really, right?
Do you think they're more likely to give Oppenheimer this and cinematic and box office achievement, or Barbie comedy and cinematic box office achievement, if they were going to give 2 to one of them?
If they're going to give 2 to 1, I would say Barbie.
Also because they feel like they owe Greta, since she called them out on, I think, Kimmel when they snubbed her for Little Woman, and she said like she was sitting there and all the members came up to her and was like, I voted for you, and she was like, well, you didn't, because I wasn't nominated.
Yeah, I think Barbie. I feel like Oppenheimer would have a tougher beat on the cinematic box office achievement based on the fact that it just, I don't know how they're, to me, it didn't make it made a ton of money, but there are movies that made more money. So why wouldn't it be Barbie? I don't know.
But I don't even know like what, because like it's the cinematic part too, because like the film is a cinematic achievement.
Well, everything is a cinematic achievement, though.
Yeah.
If it's
like obviously not supposed to just be based on the box.
I love the cinematic achievement for movies like
it's so incredibly nebulous. Like we know what you mean, but like, what do you mean?
I don't know. I find that whole thing really hilarious. But I think my take would be probably Barbie would have a better shot of winning cinematic achievement, because I don't think it's as cut and dry that it will win comedy, because I think there's actually more competition for comedy on Barbie than there is on Oppenheimer for drama. So
what else is there here? So Saltburn is in 6th, right? Yeah.
Saltburn, I feel like, is going to have a pretty decent renaissance. I feel like if they've been doing screenings recently, renaissance, it didn't even come out yet. It played well at Telluride too, because obviously I loved it and a lot of people did like it, but it was definitely more polarizing, I think. But they've been doing screenings and I feel like the buzz has been good, and they've been like rolling out like first look stuff and people are really excited about it. I don't think that movie is going by the wayside. I also think it's just incredibly watchable, and like while it's polarizing because like certain things happen that maybe people would clutch their pearls about, but it's not like, I don't know, it's not like polarizing like other movie. I don't know, you know what I mean? It's like the thing that makes it polarizing is also something that like Poor Things would probably say is like a pro, right? Because it's like there's graphic sex in Poor Things or whatever, you know what I mean? Like that's why it's polarizing. I don't know.
Um, and then Origin is in 7th after that, and then Zone of Interest and Napoleon.
Origin I didn't move up in, even though it had a nice run at TIFF. Feels like that the was a very loud 2 days on Twitter about it, and then has dissipated as people wait for it to come out.
Yeah, I don't like, I can see maybe Ingenue getting in, but I don't know about the film overall. So like last year, this category, it felt like there was an obvious 5. Because I think a lot of people had Women Talking getting in, and then Avatar got in. But I don't know if we'll have that like late coming blockbuster this year to dethrone anything.
I think the late movie is Color Purple, right? And like that's
not here.
So I don't think it's going to be comparable. For actress choice, again, even with some people not present, this is still just a knockdown drag out category. But I have Annette Bening in first, winning. And then I have Carey Mulligan, Lily Gladstone, Sandra Huller, and Natalie Portman. That's the top 5 in the odds as well. But not in that order. Carey Mulligan's first in the odds.
I don't know like who's winning this, but I have Lily in first. Carey, Sandra, Annette, and Kaylee Spaney for
Nice.
Priscilla.
I was thinking of her. I put Natalie. We haven't seen May December. I think we're both seeing it on Friday at New York Film Festival, Joyce, where the festival kicks off in earnest, the first opening night. But I watched the trailer and I was like, Natalie Portman looks great in this. Seems like something people really like. And so I think
once again, I had the dilemma of how many Netflix people do I want to put in here.
I'm always going to take the over on the Netflix. They just seem like they've got a lot, and there's a lot of room. The 6th in the odds is Greta Lee, and 7th is Anjanae Ellis Taylor. Priscilla.
I had Greta before Lily went lead.
I think a lot of people did probably.
Yeah.
I could see Lily winning. This again, like we've talked about with the Oscars. I could make a case for 6 or 7 people actually winning this category right now. So Lily could win for sure. I went with Annette because of the status as an elder statesman. People really like Annette Bening.
I can see Sandra winning and Isabelle Huppert.
Sure. But it's the problem I have right now is like the different group, right? Or a bigger group.
And I mean, like that's what you like to think. So
well, they added.
I mean, like look at their choices last year. Like, were any of them that offbeat from what you would think the old membership would have voted for?
Let's take a look at who won last year.
It's Fableman,
Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah, Kate, Austin,
Colin. I mean, last year was pretty easy though. I think last year was easier to figure out. And I think based on the fact that like Angela, like to me, like Annette Bening would be like an Angela Bassett type win.
So she'll lose the Oscar.
Yeah, of course. I don't think she's going to win the Oscar, but I definitely she can think.
I mean, they definitely like with Angela. All they did was basically secure her nomination and also mislead casuals into thinking she was stronger than she was in reality.
Yes.
So
best actor choice, I have Bradley Cooper winning for Maestro. I have Cillian Murphy, Leonardo DiCaprio, Coleman Domingo, and Barry Keoghan for Saltburn.
You're just all in on Saltburn.
I'm going Saltburn. I just think they're going to like it. I do. It does feel very Globesy to me in the historical sense of Globes, but so I'm just going with it, even though I don't, like I just said, I'm not sure that matters.
I could see Barry getting in. I have Leo, Cillian, Bradley, Coleman, and Andrew Scott for All the Strangers.
Andrew Scott's 5th in the odds. I would have him in if I didn't have Barry in. Joaquin Phoenix for Napoleon, 6th. Sight unseen. Just shot it in there. Seems Globesy, I guess.
I mean, sure.
I have Bradley because I just feel like I think Leo is another good bet. Like you said you have Leo. I'm like, I'm here for that too. I just think they're gonna go with like the most famous star. transformational stuff, sure.
I don't. I know I have Killian.
Oh, you have Killian. I thought you said
Yeah.
you had Leo. Okay.
Do I have Leo? No, I have Killian. Did I read it backwards? I don't know. But I mean, I don't know if Killian's winning. Like a lot of these, it's just like I think they're gonna be nominated. I don't know if they're. It's kind of like the Oscars. Like I have Killian in first there, but I don't know if he's winning that.
Right.
Or I'm not like confident that he's winning that. Um. Yeah, like Coleman, I think is. I don't think I have him at the Oscars anymore. I think I dropped him.
I think you did, but I don't think that's smart or
Uh,
right. I think it's smart, but not right, maybe.
but I think like he's fine here. And then Andrew, like he's kind of like the filler nom here who like we'll get into the Globes because they're split categories, but then we'll miss the Oscar nomination.
Definitely. That's how I felt about Barry. I would have put Andrew in, but I think
he's like the Jeremy Pope.
Yeah. I think that makes sense.
And like he's been nominated before for
Mhm.
Fleabag, and he was, predicted to win that, and he didn't win.
Comedy musical, Joyce. I have Poor Things winning over Barbie. I also have Barbie, The Holdovers, American Fiction, and Color Purple.
I have Poor Things, Barbie, The Color Purple, Holdovers, and Air.
Nice. I was actually going to put Aaron over Color Purple. I'm nervous that Color Purple is not going to be seen enough for some reason when these are ready, but I'm sure they'll screen it for.
It'll get in. I don't know about winning, but I think like because it's like clearly a musical, and like I don't think it's gonna be abysmal. So
right.
It's like
Air would be great though. Love to see it. I want American Fiction. It just feels like they'll enjoy it, get the momentum of the TIFF audience award. Do you have Poor Things or Barbie? I forget what you said.
Poor Things.
Yeah. So that's why I think Barbie will win like the cinematic achievement award versus this, because I think Poor Things has a much better shot at winning comedy musical. Not a deep bench here either, Joyce.
I mean, there's what else is there?
Well, seventh in the odds perhaps is Bottoms, which I loved. It's great.
Everything after Air is 100-1.
Yes. Asteroid City, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, Wonka, Next Goal Wins, Flora and Son, Dumb Money, Theater Camp. I mean,
Yeah, so I think everyone has the same top four, and then you're picking American Fiction or Air.
Right. I'll take American Fiction.
I mean, they could go with something else. I don't know. What here?
Wonka.
What is this year's music?
I don't even know. For actress in a comedy musical, I've got Emma Stone, Fantasia, Margot Robbie, Jennifer Lawrence for No Hard Feelings, and then Abby Ryder Forston for Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
That's a good dark horse pick. Yeah. I have Emma, Margot, Fantasia, J-Law, and Eve Hewson for Flora and Son.
Another good one. I think either one. I think that fifth spot could be either one of them. So
I also considered JLD for You Hurt My Feelings.
So she's fifth in the odds. So if like most people might have her. I also considered Aya Debris for Bottoms.
For double noms with this and the bear.
I actually thought yes, because I was like, it does feel like a double nom thing, and she's really, really funny in Bottoms. But I also think Rachel Sennett is really, really funny in Bottoms and could equally stake a claim to nomination. What if they both got in and Jennifer Lawrence didn't? It just feels like Jennifer Lawrence will obviously get in though for No Hard Feelings.
I think she will. I mean, she definitely felt like she was going to, as is the case when a movie is coming out. So it felt like that in June.
It did.
But they do love her.
I mean,
so it's been a while since she's been in the awards game.
Right.
Like last year for The Causeway, she didn't really get much traction. It was like basically Brian Tyree Henry, although she deserved last year.
Right.
So, and then this is like, she's a, comedy queen, and she's great in movies. So I feel like like her nomination can also be like the clear like comedy nominee,
Yes.
that has no Oscar aspirations.
I feel like I think when it gets to Netflix too, it would also be potentially good. I don't know. A little reboost, like you said. Like people liked the movie when it came out in June. It's
I
just
mean,
kind of
honestly, what a time for the 2010s to have Emma Stone, Margot Robbie, and Jennifer Lawrence nominated in the same category.
pretty great.
Yeah.
Next up is comedy actor. I have Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction, Matt Damon for Air, Timothy Chalamet for Wonka, and Nicolas Cage for the movie Dream Scenario.
Wow. I have Jeffrey, Paul, Matt, Timmy, and Gael Garcia Bernal for Cassandra.
Yeah, I thought of that too. He was my sixth, I think. Jamie Foxx is fifth in the odds. We have the same top four, just slightly different order because I have Paul winning, but I think Jeffrey could easily win. Jamie Foxx is fifth in the odds. Paul Dano is sixth, and Gael Garcia Bernal is seventh for Cassandra. Cassandra is a totally average movie with a really good performance from Gael Garcia Bernal. So if he got in, it would be pretty cool.
I mean, I kind of did him because he won for Mozart in the Jungle. Remember that? Remember that show?
Sure. I also was like surprised it was classified as a comedy. It's much more dramatic, I think, than comedy to me. But I guess it doesn't matter. You could say the same thing about Air. So even though I think Air is funnier than Cassandra. But it's more like a sports drama.
It's inherently a sports drama, but it's very funny.
Yeah. I put Cage in because I just think Cage doing stuff people like. Why not?
Sure.
So you think Jeffrey would win over Paul?
I mean, I kind of had trouble after the top three, basically.
I was like, is Timothy Chalamet really going to be in there? But I guess
I don't know, but I just did it, so.
So Jeffrey over Paul. I don't know. I could see that.
Yeah. I haven't seen American Fiction. I saw The Leftovers, The Holdovers. I should watch The Leftovers again. Has been a while.
What do you think of The Holdovers, Joyce? We can talk about that one.
It was warm and nice.
It's exactly what you'd expect from the trailer.
Yeah. Like nice like vibes. It's a Christmas movie.
I think for people and specifically Academy members over the age of 55, they're going to really love it.
Yes. It's very, I mean, obviously you know it from the trailer and it's set in the 70s. Like it's very throwback, old school. And Paul is really good in it. The last couple scenes are really good between him and Dominic Sessa.
Really good.
So I can see him winning. But I just did Jeffrey. So
next up, film supporting actress, Joyce. I have Jodie Foster winning for Naiad. I have both the Naiad ladies winning. I also have Devon Joy Randolph for The Holdovers, Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple, and America Ferrara for Barbie.
Do you have America getting in everywhere because you have her at Oscars?
I do now. My other person who I thought of putting in here was Julianne Moore for May December. She's fifth in the odds.
I have Emily, Davine, Danielle, Jodie, and Penelope Cruz for Ferrari.
Feels like there's ability for this to be a fun wild card category, right? Someone like Penelope Cruz or maybe America Ferrera. Viola Davis. I thought of Rosamund Pike for Saltburn also. Rachel McAdams maybe. I think there's a world where this is a fun Globes category and they put someone surprising in there in that last spot.
Yes, that's why I did Penelope. I don't know who's winning this. I have Emily, but I don't know. They could do something weird. Do you only have Jodie because she won for the Martini?
Yes, and they love Jodie Foster. I mean, Jodie Foster's history with the Golden Globes, I think, is like great. They really like her.
They could also move on because they just gave one to her recently.
I gotta say though, if she won an Oscar even for this movie, I'd be like, that's fine. She's great in this movie. I think she's like legitimately good, and in a category without really a front runner after Lily Gladstone had left. Why not? So
So you have Naya winning 2 acting awards, but not nominated
no
for picture.
No, I think it's in contention though to get nominated. I do think that, but no.
There's, I mean, who else is there? There's Vanessa Kirby too.
I think we're all sleeping on Vanessa Kirby a little. Like I think we talked about this.
Well, no one has seen the movie,
but no one has seen the movie. So I feel like they need to start like getting people to see the movie and getting that engine going, because I do think she could get in.
I also thought about Claire Foy because I loved her in All of Us Strangers. She and Jamie Bell were really great.
I mean, they're the best parts of the movie.
Yeah, they are single-handedly the best parts of the movie and best performances. No offense to Andrew or Paul Mescal.
Andrew's fine. It's a very reactive performance. I think he's good. He, a lot of internal stuff, a lot of his face. It reminds me a little of
a lot of eyes.
It honestly like reminds me of the Lily Gladstone performance.
Yes. Yeah.
Where it's like they're the focus of the movie, but not the focus of the movie, I guess. Isn't that weird? Like a little bit?
Yeah, because it's them like consuming things, like information.
Yes. And he's great in it.
Yeah. So it is like the performance is, I mean, like Lily's is more internal than Andrew's.
Yeah, and Andrew's the lead, and Lily has got other people around her who are also the lead. Like the movie is about Andrew's character, but it's mostly about how other people react with Andrew's character.
Yes.
And those other people are all great. Though I would say if I was ranking them, you're right, Claire Foy I thought was incredible, and Jamie Bell was amazing, and then Andrew, and then Paul Mescal. Yeah,
like Paul is like easily last, like that, like that's just like the way the movie functions, so, but like he's very good in it. But yeah, Claire was great. She also has like more material than Jamie in it, just some extra scenes, and like all of her scenes opposite Andrew are fantastic and devastating in different ways.
I mean, if the movie definitely made me cry, and mostly because of her and Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie has one killer line that they included in the trailer.
Yeah, so he's so good in it. I don't know if this will get a lot of.
Me either. I feel like, I mean, I hope they get some critics love, the two of them.
I hope
Jamie
so too.
Yeah,
we have an email later. We could talk about this movie more. It's in the email. Someone reached out about it. Drama supporting film supporting actor. It's all the categories, Joyce, not drama. Apologize. I think we probably both have the same top 4: Downey, Ruffalo, Gosling, De Niro. And then for my 5th, I put Dominic Sessa for The Holdovers.
I have Downey, Ruffalo, Gosling, De Niro, and then I have Charles Melton for May, December.
I think that's legitimate too. I feel like this is a spot where they'll go with one of the younger breakout actors. It just depends on which movie they like more. I also thought of Sterling K. Brown here for American Fiction. Not a younger breakout actor, but another actor I think they'll like, and they have history of liking.
I thought about just doing Willem Dafoe in the last spot, but that's also my Oscar 5, and I don't really want them to have a carbon copy.
I don't think they will.
Or have a preview of the Oscar 5, because
I don't think they will. But yeah, I got Downey winning. I'm defaulting to the bigger names and the stars.
I have him here, and this is the only acting category that I feel remotely confident in, like, of the winner.
Right.
So,
best director, I have the top 5, which are Nolan, Scorsese, Lanthimos, Greta Gerwig, and Alexander Payne. But I think Scorsese could win based on his history with the Globes as well. Even though I don't think Flower Moon is going to win Best Picture, and I think Oppenheimer would.
I have the same 5.
Do you have Scorsese winning?
No.
You have Nolan winning?
Yes.
I can't figure it out. I have Nolan in first too, but I really want to put Scorsese in first.
I think it'll probably be Nolan. I mean, but like we'll get a better picture depending on how Flower Moon plays when it's released.
Tickets on sale now, Joyce. Did you go run out and buy them?
No. Did you?
No.
You already saw it twice.
I'll see it again. I would see it again, but no. I got to say, everything I thought about the movie, we'll talk about this when it comes out, but everything I've thought about the movie, and I think we've talked about it a decent amount in real life and on this kind of thing, is confirmed by all the interviews I read with Scorsese. I feel like he's definitely at a place in his life where this is the movie he wanted to make, and he made it exactly how he wanted. And that's it. Like, it's exactly, he made the movie he set out to make. So it's not like a failure at all in that aspect of it. You know what I mean?
It's a great movie.
He made the movie he wanted to make.
So yeah, like the GQ cover this week was great. And
I thought that was great, but I gotta say, I watched the thing today while we were before we started recording. The GQ did a little video with him. Did you see that?
His greatest hits. I watched that on Monday. Yeah.
Man, what a great video. Everyone should watch that. I thought it was just like fascinating. I loved hearing him talk about the old movies. And the thing I took away from it was all the movies that he didn't want to make are his best movies. And whether that is
whenever he has to talk about Shutter Island, it's fantastic.
Not even Shutter Island, but in the video he was like Goodfellas, Wolf of Wall Street, are movies he definitely did not want to, like Goodfellas. He was like, I didn't want to make. I owed Warner Brothers a movie, and they made me make Goodfellas. And Michael Powell was like, you absolutely have to make Goodfellas, and he was like, okay. And The Departed, the same thing. And Wolf of Wall Street, he's like, I've already done this, but sure, I could do it. And like, it's just like when he's got, whether he needs it or not to play amateur psychologist on 80-year-old Martin Scorsese, I'm like, when he's got that outside pressure and that push and pull of like, I want to not really do this, but I'll do it. It ends up creating, I think, his best movies. And when he's
because like we know that like he just stopped caring for like validation with The Departed. It was just like whatever, no fucks. And then obviously the aggregating story this week is that Warner Brothers wanted Leo or Matt to live, and he was like,
no shit, because it's a franchise that it's based on, and one of them lived. The Damon character lives in
and
the movie.
So like he had no fucks to give, and then that was the one he won for. And the only issue I have of the video, which is like 20 minutes long, is that The Departed and Wolf of Wall Street sections were way too short.
They were, but I've I've heard a lot about them, so I was like, I liked hearing about Silence to the point where I was like, oh, maybe I'm
because no one talks to him about Silence anymore because it was floppy.
I would like to watch it again though.
I haven't seen it since it came out.
But, you have the same 5. So Lanthimos and Alexander Payne. 6 in the odds is Bradley Cooper. I think he has a shot, but who knows?
I don't know. I feel like because Marty already has 3 wins here, so, and obviously Chris doesn't have any.
I think that'll end up putting Chris over the top. But if you told me that Marty won a Golden Globe for Killers of the Flower Moon, I would not be surprised, I guess I would say.
No, but I don't know if they feel like the need to give it to him for this.
Right.
Too, so.
Best film screenplay, Joyce. I have Barbie winning. Feels like a great spot to reward Barbie and Greta Gerwig. I have The Holdovers, Poor Things, Oppenheimer, and American Fiction.
I have Poor Things, Oppenheimer, Barbie, The Holdovers, and Past Lives.
Nice.
Which I only have in here because I have it in film. So I feel like it needs another nomination. Because
I have American Fiction in film. I have it in here. Neither of us have Killers of the Flower Moon. It's in 5th in the odds. I'm not surprised that we don't have it because we've seen it.
It's like I wouldn't be. I just feel like since it's a single category here,
exactly,
it's just kind of competitive, and the script is good, and they obviously reworked it. Quite differently from the book.
Yeah. I think it was obviously I have it in at the Oscars, but I think the fact that it's a combined category, I don't think it's going to get in personally.
And I don't think it would win even if it got in.
No.
Either. So
I have Barbie winning. You have it in 3rd place, so you don't think that's possible, I guess.
I mean, I think it's possible because I have it predicted to get in, but sure. I don't know. Like I feel like Poor Things might be more their speed too, and then
I could see that.
Yeah. I mean, because with The Favorite, like its only win was for Olivia.
Right. They have a lot of awards to make up because Greta they don't like either, right? Like we said. So it's like they gotta make a lot of makeup awards this year, maybe.
I mean, they can kill two birds with one stone with her and Noah with this. So
That's what I was thinking. That's honestly why I did it.
I don't think they even care.
I think they do. Honestly, I do.
I don't
Because they
think
want
they
them to keep coming and they want them to keep coming back.
But like all they need to do is just nominate them.
Yeah, I guess, but they could just be like, we're not coming anymore. Fuck off. I could see people doing that. There's no allegiance to the Globes, right? You know, it's not like the Oscars, like you're saying.
No, but like they like I don't or like the members. I'm like, I guess like maybe the old membership did care because it was about like schmoozing.
Yeah.
I don't know about like the new crop.
Yeah.
So
last category we have in the prediction center, best animated feature. I've got Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the Super Mario Brothers movie, which is a fantastic movie that people are discounting a lot of places, Elemental, The Boy and the Heron, and Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget.
I have Spider-Verse, The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Super Mario, and Wish.
Wish is fifth in the odds. Chicken Run, I felt like, honestly, is a better shot of being widely seen than Wish. And I think the past imprimatur of
I think
success
they could go left field with the fifth spot.
So that's kind of also true. Ninja Turtles, you didn't have in. Neither one of us did. That's seventh in the odds.
Yeah, there's Trolls band together. They could get in sync there somehow.
I mean, people really seemingly are high on that one. I actually could see that getting in too. I think if they're one of these bigger movies is going to drop, I'd probably say Elemental, which most people don't actually like. It was a lot of headlines about how it was underperformed at the box office that proved false because it made a lot of money. But everyone I've talked to, and I saw it in the theater, even people who enjoyed it have not really given it a lot of thought since they saw it.
Did your daughter like it?
She liked it, but she's never even thought about to even mention it again. But Super Mario Brothers movie, we've watched, I mean, I'm not even kidding, like 10 times.
I like Super Mario.
Great. Oh man, it's so fun. So I was like, I don't know if it has the staying power Elemental. So if I was going to put something else in, I would probably drop it out. But
I don't know many people who've seen Elemental, so I have like nothing to weigh in on.
It doesn't really matter what gets nominated because clearly Spider-Man would win here. So
yeah. Maybe Paw Patrol.
I also am excited to see that with my daughter.
I know, this week.
It's Paw Patrol 3, greenlit. Can't wait.
I know.
Let's go.
In 2026.
Let's go, baby. Great movie. The first one's pretty good, actually.
I love the first one.
Pretty good. Good song, too.
Who's your favorite pop? Mine is Marshall.
I think she likes
Oh my god, you don't even know their names. What?
Sky is the pink one, Sky?
Oh yeah, the girl. Yeah.
She likes Sky.
Sure.
Marshall's pretty cool though, gotta say. And that's it for the Golden Globe, Joyce. We did it. Can't wait to see what network it's on. And I guess we'll come
probably just be on their YouTube page.
So. I mean, maybe. We got a ton of emails here. People writing in. Can't wait to talk to us. You email us at slugfest@goldderby.com. This one is from Jordan. I love Gold Derby. It's the subject line. Well, you know I'm going to read that one. Joyce and Chris.
You're such an easy lay.
So easy. Be positive, and you know what? I'm a fan. Joyce and Chris, I have been a fan and a follower of Gold Derby ever since Nightcrawler and Gone Girl were snubbed for Best Picture and Acting nominations. Jordan, I agree. Two great movies.
Well, I mean, Rosamund Pike got in for Gone Girl.
I think he means probably Jake for Nightcrawler.
Sure. Because of Bradley.
As a fan of Steven Spielberg's film version of The Color Purple and a fan of the adapted stage musical, I think some people are underestimating The Color Purple's chances and not only being nominated, but winning some categories. Stage adaptation is a crowd pleaser. I saw Fantasia in 2005 or 2006 when she replaced the actress who won the Tony Award. Standing ovations. The revival had people jumping to their feet in almost every musical number. Danielle Brooks brought down the house and had audiences applauding most of her delivered lines. If the film adaptation of the musical captures just a hint of that enthusiasm and love, I think this film can be a dark horse in a couple of categories. My question is, what category is The Color Purple likely to win? Supporting actress? The Academy loves a good crowd-pleasing singing performance. Love the slugfests, Jordan. I mean, I think yes, right? Like Daniel Brooks winning here would be the most likely, either at the Globes or the Oscars.
Yeah. And is Danielle, I forget, is Danielle or Taraji ahead in the
I
odds?
think most people have gone back to Danielle, right? Like I feel like, let's take a look. Oh, I hit the wrong button. At the Oscars. We'll go back to the Oscars here.
Because Danielle is Sophia, so that role has been more recognized by awards
Yeah,
groups.
Danielle's in
that
third.
show.
Taraji's in fourth.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can see it. I don't know. I mean, like, no one's seen the movie. Yeah.
I mean, I think if it was just
So,
one of the tough, I feel like this is a big movie like this that's a big production, right? Like you could say like, oh, it's going to be competitive in like production design and costume design too, right? But like this year, a lot of the big movies are also very competitive there, right? So like Poor Things and Barbie are very highly probably set in those categories. Is there going to be an original song? I'd imagine, right?
yeah, they wrote a bunch of, or not a bunch, but I think it's 3 in the, there's a feature in the Times a couple weeks ago with Buzz Woolley, and then because they also wrote in additional scenes in Ceely's imagination, so Fantasia has more material that way too. And then I think they said it was 3 new songs, so at least one will be submitted. So
they could get in there and maybe win there, right? Perhaps. I mean, Barbie's probably the front runner, but again, who knows?
I mean, if the movie is good, it'll get multiple nominations. I think it's like, I think of it like West Side Story, because I think we were all predicting it at this point, West Side Story 2 years ago, to get in, just because of like the IP and like, the people behind it and everything. And it ended up just steamrolling supporting actress.
And it could similarly do that here now.
Yeah,
right? I mean,
like,
I would not be surprised.
The same thing. I mean, the movie, that year, it got kneecapped by Omnicron,
right.
box office
wise, yeah.
Yeah, and then so it didn't. I don't even know how well it would have done under like normal circumstances, but it was a great film, and a great update on the musical.
I would say that was my favorite movie of the year that year, and also better than the original musical.
Yes, I thought it was way better than the original. But then like the Academy also didn't love it that much either. No. So
I would say like I mean, not to like pigeonhole it into supporting actress, but this is Devondre Randolph and Emily Blunt are the 2 frontrunners, and I'm not sure either of them are strong enough to win. So if Danielle Brooks is amazing in Color Purple, like you said, that's the performance and the character that like wins awards, then like why wouldn't she probably win here if the movie's good and they like it? You know what I mean? Like it does feel like the door is definitely open for her to like Ariana DeBose style steamroll through once people see the movie.
Yeah.
Like Divine is like very solid in The Holdovers.
Mm-hmm. It's actually her part, I think, is like a very classic supporting actress winning role.
Yeah.
Like she's very lovely in it. She has some nice moments, and is also funny, and like sassy. I can see it happening for her too. Like, I mean, I don't know who's winning. I think I have her in first, right? Yeah, I do.
I have Emily Blunt first. I'm not sure that's going to hold.
I mean, you have what, Oppenheimer?
I have Oppenheimer winning 3 acting. Yeah, I'm just like steamrolling. Christopher Nolan never won acting Oscar, and he's going to go all the way.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like, we have to see. I mean, the movie could be good too. Color Purple, I'm talking about, like, and if the industry doesn't care about it, then it's not gonna do well.
I mean, right now we have
it'll be fine.
We have it in for Best Picture. I think director would be difficult because it's such a big, busy category. But I don't think it's like out of the running. But he's in like the second tier. Best Actress, certainly a top contender. Supporting Actress, sure. Supporting Actor, Colman Domingo, we've had in for a while, but we both have moved off. But I could see, production design, costume design, maybe cinematography. You know what I mean? Like it could get like 6 or 7 or 8 nominations pretty easily.
Yeah, and if it goes over huge, it could,
Get 10,
maybe hit double digits. So
yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing it whenever we get to see it. This one's from James, who emailed us at Slugfest at Gold Derby. Hey, Joyce, Chris, and fellow Slugfesters. What's going on with Kate Winslet Lee? Is she not an available option for Best Actress at Gold Derby? I can't find her to put her in my top 5. Did they get a distributor yet? Is that why no one is taking her seriously? Surely if Annette is in contention for Naiad, Kate would be in too for Lee. Seems right.
Well, you just answered your own question.
You did. No distributor. No one picked it up.
Yet.
I don't think it's out of the question that someone picks it up and drops it in for December release.
The longer time goes on and we haven't had an announcement of a pickup yet, I feel like the less likely that is to happen. So I feel like it'll be a 2024 release.
Yeah. I mean, it seems likely it'll be 24, but I've heard from people who saw it, a lot of people like really, really loved her in it.
Yeah, I feel like the movie got like so-so reviews, but obviously, she's still peerless.
I think the comp to Naiad is solid because I think the movie got solid to so-so reviews, but everyone really liked the performances. So I wonder, even if it gets picked up, is it wise to release it this year when there's already that kind of movie?
That's why I feel like it, it's almost October.
Yeah.
So it was also kind of because of the strikes too. So it was like they're, at an impasse. Like there were very few pickups since the festivals. Like, Hitman went to Netflix.
Also probably 24, I guess.
Yeah. And then Sing Sing is 24 too.
Yeah. Sing Sing from Colman Domingo, back-to-back Oscars, baby.
Yeah. If it doesn't work out this year, next year. Yeah, but like that's why she's
James asks, thoughts on All of Us Strangers? This is my must-see film of the year since the trailer came out. Well, Joyce, you saw it in your film festival, and you said you really liked it.
Yeah, it's a good, solid movie. Short too. It's only 105 minutes. Like perfect runtime for me. And
it's 2 Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yes. Yeah. So.
Or 2 of All of Us Strangers is 1 Flower Moon. Excuse me.
Yes.
That's the math.
And it's like I said, I think Claire Foy and Jamie Bell were the best parts of the film.
I agree. I really loved a lot of the music choice, like the soundtrack. I think is great. A lot of great music choices. I think Andrew Scott, like we said, is really solid. It's a good movie. Andrew Haig did a great job. I felt like writing and directing, very enjoyable.
Yeah, it's very atmospheric. And like thematically rich, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's a movie you have to pay attention to because
and then like my only like thing is like in the third act when they're like setting up for the end. It's like a little too telly.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
James wants to know, do you guys enjoy watching the Spirit Awards? I actually find that award show to be the most entertaining and probably the only place where All of Us Strangers could be nominated. I got to say, I definitely think it'll do well at the Spirit Awards.
Yes.
I think Andrew Scott, Claire Foy, Jamie Bell, and Paul Mescal could all get nominated, maybe. And certainly writing and directing, I think, would be in play there as well.
Yeah.
I think it's going to do really well there.
Mm-hmm. I don't really watch those live.
Not anymore, honestly. I used to try to watch it when it was on IFC.
I don't like if there's like a clip or something online, like I'll watch like maybe a speech or something.
Right.
But
last year, Hassan Minhaj hosted.
Yeah, I did not watch any of the monologue. I saw all like the cringy stuff when like, Kate Blanchett went under the table and everything.
Whatever happened to that guy? Has he been in the news lately?
I don't know.
Huh. I'll have to look him up. This one's from Cameron Joyce. Writes us at slugfest@goldderby.com. Hi, Joyce and Chris. I'm Cameron. I was just wondering, what would your top 5 movies or your top 5 movies to take if you were stranded on a desert island be? I know Joyce loves The Mighty Ducks and Saving Private Ryan, But what would the other 3 movies be? And also, before Joyce asks, I do think that the Mighty Ducks trilogy counts as one movie. Also, I know Chris loves The Departed, but I don't know what else he would pick. Also, in my book, you should only have one movie from each director. So, for example, Chris could not take Goodfellas and The Departed. He would have to pick just one. My personal list would be Back to the Future, Parasite, Knives Out, Singing in the Rain, and Fargo. Do you think this is a good list? Does it get the Joyce and Chris seal of approval?
So I love that the rules are that you can't duplicate a director, but franchises are totally fine.
Franchises count as one.
So I can take 2 extra movies.
So you can take all the Mighty Ducks movies.
Yeah.
I can't take Departed and Goodfellas. Let's just start at the bottom. Back to the Future, Parasite, Knives Out, Singing in the Rain, and Fargo.
So is he just doing one Back to the Future or the whole franchise?
Let's say the whole franchise, but I'm sure he's just going to be really running one into the ground. This is a fine list. I think that's okay. I think it's a little recency bias.
Yeah, but like I think there's a good variety.
I think there's a good variety. You have a big blockbuster comedy. You have Parasite. Knives Out is like a mystery. Singing in the Rain, big musical, and Fargo, like kind of a crime.
I guess also, like, what are you looking for? Like, what kind of movie are you looking for to have on a desert island?
I don't know. I gotta say,
like, do you want like a comfort movie?
I think you probably would, but also I'm like, I don't really want to be stuck on a desert island. I would just say
no, but it's like, if I'm stuck here, what, for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I need something.
How you watching the movies?
I guess you'll get maybe like on your phone. I don't know. How do you charge your phone? Do you have
solar charger? If you got a solar charger, you can watch everything on your phone. So let's just do 5 movies, Joyce. I don't actually know. I didn't in the interest of keeping this fresh, I didn't really put a lot of thought into what my 5 would be because I had this question before you. I do think The Departed or Goodfellas would probably definitely be on my list. I kind of think The Departed maybe over Goodfellas from a pure rewatching standpoint. It's the most rewatchable movie I think I've ever seen. It's so rewatchable, even more than Goodfellas, because it's so funny, The Departed. So I think I would take that if I was picking, even though I think Goodfellas is better.
Okay, but that's just your Marty pick.
That's just my one Marty pick. I would probably take. I would probably do like La La Land for my musical.
You do love La La Land.
Love La La Land. I would do maybe. So, Departed, La La Land. Probably do like Star Wars, so I could get a lot of movies there. But I would just do the original trilogy of Star Wars because I think they're pretty rewatchable. I would take from Spielberg maybe Catch Me If You Can, and then I got one more, and maybe it's like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That would be my 5. Talk about recency bias, but there you go.
I know. I mean, yours are more recent.
Sorry, Cameron. I besmirched your name by saying recency bias when I just did like multiple recent movies.
Okay, so I have my 2, even though it's 4.
Yes.
The Mighty Ducks trilogy.
And Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, I think I would lean more towards rewatchable movies, like things that I rewatch all the time, than something that maybe might be more intellectually stimulating that I greatly enjoy but don't rewatch as much.
Mm-hmm.
So what else do I watch a lot?
You tell me. I don't know.
I mean, I could do The Departed too.
It's great.
Okay, so do I want The Departed or The Town? Because I also rewatched The Town a lot. I could have them both, but they're very similar.
I mean, I would personally do The Departed, but The Town is pretty great.
Oh, you know what? First, I'm gonna do 10 Things I Hate About You because I watch that every March 31st on the anniversary of its release.
Great movie.
So that's 3. So that I could just close out with The Departed and The Town. I don't know if I want to do that though. What else do I watch a lot? Oh my gosh. I actually watch Shakespeare in Love a lot too.
Take them both. Then you could have an intern forever.
Just my, I'm gonna do like the 1998 battle again.
Yeah.
Sure. And then is there anything older that I watch a lot? I mean, when I was a kid, I used to watch Mary Poppins all the time. I don't watch that anymore as an adult, but I used to, like, this is how dumb I am when I was a kid. Like because I had the VHS, in the puffy case.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to think like Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke, they were performing live whenever I pressed play or rewound it. Like I was controlling them.
Awesome.
I don't think I would take that though. So and then what else? I've watched Network a lot, but I don't know if I would want to take that.
A good one.
It is, yeah, it's a good one, but okay, I'll do those three. I'll do The Departed and Network.
Nice. Good. That's classy. That's a classy list.
A classy list.
Here's
and Authority to the Town. I love The Town.
It's good. Good movie.
Yes.
Here's
I love any like Boston movie, really.
The best. We didn't even talk about Good Will Hunting. That could have been.
I know. I thought about that, but I was like, I don't know.
Ita E writes in, our old pal, slugfest@goldderby.com. Is Rodrigo Prieto allowed to submit both Barbie and Killers of the Flower Moon for cinematography?
Yeah, it's only in acting where you can't get double nominations because they won the most stars.
Assuming yes, which one do you think gives him the best shot to win? No pun intended.
I thought both were great. It's so different.
It's very different. I would say based on historical precedent, I would say Flower Moon is probably more,
yeah, of course,
an obvious choice. So I would say Flower Moon.
I think if I were voting and between those two options, I would vote for Barbie.
So let's extrapolate it out here. Cinematography and production design putting together. I would do Barbie for production design, Flower Moon for cinematography. I think his photography in Barbie is heightened by the fact that the production design is like crazy good.
It is crazy good.
And so like Flower Moon, I feel like
it could win both.
It could, but I think his cinematography in Flower Moon is slightly better. But I think the production design of Barbie is crazy good. E.T. writes, in your Oscars playback series, which I love, you talk a lot about Oscar campaigns. What do you think will be the best strategy for smaller movies like Past Lives, Screeners, Bonanza? ? So I think with a movie like Past Lives, we said a great thing is that they'll be able to talk about the movie, but that might not actually.
The interim agreement.
It did, but also now that this writer's strike is over, most people feel like their actor strike will end soon enough, and so that perceived advantage of having the inner agreement, unless they're going to really be pounding the pavement in the next like 2 or 3 weeks, will not matter as much, because while nothing will really probably get back into production until Thanksgiving or December or whenever we're talking, like once they, like with the writers, like they're writing now, even though it didn't even pass through the guild yet, right? Like they're still voting on it next week.
Yeah, but like they ended the strike.
They ended the strike. And so SAG will probably end the strike soon after agreeing to their deal. And so they'll all be doing press again before Thanksgiving. So I don't know if that inter agreement helps Past Lives anymore as much as I thought it did like last week. So I think they'll have to get people to see it again, maybe do more screeners and stuff. It's tough with this one because it was a solid hit, but not like an everything everywhere hit. And like it's already on home video, so that's good, but also like not as much of a you gotta see it as everything everywhere felt like at this time last year, right? Like what do you think?
It just doesn't it hasn't elicited the same type of passion.
Yeah, I'm really only comparing to Everything Everywhere because of the date and the studio, also because they're completely different movies. But
And it's like, I think it's, I mean, if the strikes, if both strikes were still happening, I think it probably would have had an advantage with like the interim agreement, and also it being one of the older films that has already been out,
right,
so like presumably people have seen it, maybe not a lot of people, but some people. So I do think it, like, no matter what, if like the SAG strike ends in 3 weeks, like it's still gonna need a resurgence, like in towards the end of the year. So I think it needs to mount a campaign for that. So obviously it can campaign with its actors no matter what happens with SAG for the rest of the year. So I don't know what they're gonna do. I think it just, if like it just needs to be seen by anyone who hasn't seen it. And I don't know, like it's such a quiet movie.
yeah,
And yeah, like Everything Everywhere was just like, big and weird, and there was just a lot more, like, I think, like pure energy and excitement over it, right? And if you can, like, the way people talked about it, like you felt like you had FOMO if you didn't see it. And I don't know if people talk about Past Lives the same way, but like most people, especially like film Twitter, like anyone who sees it loves the movie.
yeah.
I
I
don't
have no doubt
think
that
people
people
feel
love
the
the
same
movie.
way.
Right.
Um,
I also think like this is something that's out of its control. Is that last year, regardless, who knows? Maybe Everything Everywhere would have still won and like been able to have like that comeback, having been an early season release. But certainly movies like Everything Everywhere, Elvis, and Top Gun last year were helped by the fact that so many of the perceived contenders in the fall flopped.
yeah.
And it just kept them in there. And Past Lives so far has not been afforded that floppage by its fellow movies, because none of them have flopped, right? Like there was not one, like we've talked about, there's not one of these festival movies came and dropped a turd. So that's good for them, but maybe not as good for Past Lives staying in the conversation.
Yeah, like I already took it out of Best Picture.
Right.
So like I think you could still get in, but I don't know. It's
tough. Tough.
Yeah.
Last one here from E to E. Joyce, did you listen to the Billie Eilish song from Barbie, or is it forbidden like No Time to Die? I know you've heard the song because you've seen the movie. So
Yeah, obviously. So I've heard the song and I hear it on the radio because they play it on the radio all the time.
Unfortunately, you've heard it. I
think they never played the No Time to Die on the radio, so that's why I never heard it.
That's not a real song.
No.
Next up, email from Ryan, slugfest@goldderby.com. Loyal listener and occasional emailer. I wanted to ask some questions on the Best Actress race. First, you have commented on the Lily, Emma, Kate, Michelle comparison. That's Lily Gladstone and Emma Stone this year versus Kate Blanchett and Michelle Yeoh last year. While people have tried to liken Michelle and Lily, isn't the comp really Michelle and Emma? Actresses doing comedic, odd, genre-specific, non-traditional performances that people say the Academy will struggle with, while Lily and Kate are delivering the serious critical pick. Let's start there, and then we'll go to the next question. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, you can make comps with anybody.
I think that's not necessarily wrong. I mean, obviously, like, there's more in common between Emma Stone and Michelle Yeoh in terms of their like performances, I think, based on those two movies.
Yeah, like that. And like they're gonna be at comedy at the Globes, right?
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this last week. One of the main reasons people are comparing Michelle and Lily is because they're both probably they're not white, and then that also helped, like that is the narrative.
Yeah,
right?
and like Emma and Kate were going for their second Best Actress Oscar.
So I don't know, those comps are really great. I think the Michelle performance is a lot like Emma's, actually, because they're both like, they do a lot of mugging Joyce, which I really enjoy when actors are like really going for it. And Michelle Yeoh does that and Everything Everywhere. And I think Emma definitely does that in Poor Things. The difference between Kate and Lily is, like we said, Kate is the indisputable focus of Tar,
Yeah.
and Lily is not the indisputable focus of Killer's Flower.
Yeah, like they're both dramas, I guess. So that's, one commonality. But
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Lily could definitely win. Lily talked about this too last week when we were going through her. Definitely could win like a major critical group award, either LA or New York. I think Lily could win. Like Kate
Yeah, I
did.
don't know if she'll sweep. I think like
I don't
she
think she'll sweep.
probably win like LA.
I think LA would
they've
be
already awarded her for a certain woman, so
And
it'll be like a
I could
reminder.
also see New York maybe coming up strong for her, but we'll see.
I think New York could give it to like Marty, or Leo, like other ways to cover the film.
Yeah. I mean, I think Sandra Huller maybe would be the best bet for New York.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of those people like the
and like Emma doesn't have like a big one either, like from the trifecta.
Right.
So but yeah, like I don't know. I mean, yeah, like you can compare them to like any race if you look for it. So, but I don't know. Like I think there's more in common between Emma and Michelle than there is between Kate and Lily.
Right.
In that case.
Yeah. Second, while I adored Barbie, this is still Ryan, and I've seen it 4 times in theaters.
Wow.
Is it possible and right now likely that it will go home empty-handed at the Oscars? Reasonably, what can it win? Maybe it pulls a Little Women and takes costumes.
How many times did you see it in the theater?
I've only seen it twice in the theater, but
he doubled you.
See it again.
Yeah, I think it could win costumes. I think it could win production design. I mean, we've talked about this before. I compared it to Black Panther. It feels like a stronger Black Panther to me.
So I think production design and costumes are pretty strong. I think,
and it could win song.
But I think Strong is more competitive, is very competitive based on like what happens with Color Purple. I think Gosling is a long shot now for supporting actor, but maybe Margot, maybe not even in. Credit for best director, maybe, but not maybe a nomination, not even guaranteed. I don't think it'll go home empty-handed, but I'm not sure it's going to win like 5 or 6 Oscars, I guess I would say.
I think it could win like 3. I don't know about above the line. I guess its best shot is screenplay.
Right.
If it stays an original, I don't think it would win adapted if they move it to adapted. Yeah, but I think it could win below the line. And
I mean, I think based on everything I've seen, I would, even Poor Things, I think production design should be like a slam dunk for Barbie. It's just so incredibly well
like
made.
Poor Things will be the favorite to Barbie's Black Panther.
Yeah. Brian, commenting on what Joyce had mentioned about how she doesn't care where people compete, especially when it's reverse category fraud. Folks should be mad about Richard E. Grant losing to a lead performance rather than being upset with Michelle Williams and Lily Gladstone. The Best Actor, Best Picture link exists because Hollywood doesn't value women's stories, and therefore movies are so rarely from a female perspective. I think Lily, like Michelle, is far too familiar with this fact, and therefore not willing to be put in supporting, further confirming that their respective films rely solely on the backs of men. What are your thoughts?
Yeah.
I think that's very well said.
Like, no notes.
No.
Yeah, like Richard E. Grant lost to a co-lead performance. So, totally. I mean, I don't care that Mahershala went supporting.
No, that's fine.
He wanted the second Oscar, so
and he got it.
Yeah, he got it.
I hope you read this email, and I pray that America Ferrera is nominated, especially if Jamie Lee Curtis can win. I love your banter. I mean, I gotta say, I think Jamie Lee Curtis has opened the door for people like America getting in. Absolutely. That's my personal take. That's why I mean,
imagine if the strikes were last year and Jamie Lee Curtis could not campaign.
Oh my God. They would have had to change your Instagram.
Imagine. Yeah, I mean, like, we're still having trouble filling out supporting actress.
Yeah, I went with America because I just think that it's it's a very popular movie, and I think her scene, regardless of the character, is like the scene in the movie that people really loved. And so I think that'll go a long way of getting her in, especially now that the category is wide open.
I think she can definitely hit SAG. I think I have her at SAG.
Right. I kind of feel like she won't hit BAFTA, but the momentum from the other places will get her through. And I also think she's an actress who's worked with so many people and that has like a great reputation in the industry. Kind of like Brian Tyree Henry style last year, where people really like the actor and the performance is, in this case, I think Brian Tyree Henry's performance was great in a movie that people didn't really care about or see. In America's case, I think her performance is great, but it's maybe like the fifth best thing in the movie, right? Like it's not like a top of mind character, certainly, or but like people really enjoy her and the movie and her performance. So all that together, I think helps.
It's interesting because I feel like I'm glad she's had such a long career, because it's been like 20 years. But like Brian Tyree Henry trajectory, was so condensed within such a short period of time. And I feel like she should have had that in the 2000s between her breakout in Real Woman, Half Curves, and Ugly Betty. She swept the first season for Ugly Betty, like the Globe, SAG, and the Emmy. And she was in Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, one of my faves. But not a lot of like film stuff back then. And then like going into Barbie, like no real expectations for her or the role, also because it was so secretive. Like no one really knew who Gloria was. Like all the promo was just like, she's a human. Right. So I think it helps her with that surprise factor that she had this big monologue that synthesized the theme of the film, and then just feelings of women everywhere.
Yeah.
And also really kind of like any like marginalized group.
Yeah, I think that's like a huge deal. And I also think that was like, wasn't that when they were doing press like before it came out? Wasn't like, didn't Greta say like that was the Meryl Streep wanted to play that part? Like that was like what she said. Like she showed the script to Meryl, was like, this Gloria part is great. So no pressure on America to like nail that, basically. But yeah, no, I think she could get in. I really do. And I have her in. Joyce, that's all.
Like depending on how everything else works out in the category, because she's definitely floating in like the 6 to 10 range.
Yes, I think so. I think if Carl, like, I have her in 5th, and I have the other 4 being Jodie Foster, Emily Blunt, Devon Joy Randolph, and Daniel Brooks. So if Color Purple is like huge, maybe Taraji gets in, or like it's possible that like Penelope Cruz pops again, right? Or I don't know. There's like a lot of people you could put in there. So I don't think that's like pretty set yet, but I don't know. Right now it feels right. That's all I got, Joyce. So no more emails for this week, but you can email us next week. It's slugfest@goldderby.com. I guess, Joyce, next week we could talk about maybe Maestro. We'll have seen it at New York Film Festival.
Yeah.
So we'll get to talk about that maybe and see what else.
And then you'll immediately put Bradley Cooper in.
Number 1 with a bullet back in.
We know what you're gonna do.
So I'll put Bradley in number 1 immediately.
You move Carrie up.
Carrie up to first, right? Yeah. Of course. I'll be like Bradley in for best director.
You'll get Maestro into original screenplay, like I have it. So
I'll have it in for like 6 nominations, and I'll be like, man, what a great fucking movie! Can't wait to see it again. Bradley Cooper doesn't miss. So that's a preview.
Like, I'm surprised that you're so soft on him, because you're so aggrieved over his loss for A Star Is Born.
I mean, he's one of my favorite actors. It's kind of like reverse jinxing it, like I was doing with what's her face, with the Emmys. Who is it? Like, I guess Daisy Jones. I kind of reverse jinxed.
I thought you were gonna say Amanda Seyfried, who you were just not predicting at all. But I don't think it was because you wanted her to win. You were just not predicting her.
I just not predicting her. I think this year I wanted like Daisy Jones to get in, and then reverse jinx myself away from it.
I mean, that's also why, like with Daisy Jones, that's also why I have Kaylee Spaney. And I was like, they're gonna want Kaylee and Riley Keough there.
I mean, why not, right? That's all I got. So we'll talk next week, Joyce. This is so much fun. Bye.